Welcome to the Eureka Street Crypto Podcast.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is 7:35 in the morning on January 15th, 2022. Yep, I'm keeping on, still doing it every single morning. Broadcasting live, talking crypto, just spouting out, brain dumping anything that I'm learning. And every single day I'm learning something new, and that's the way it rolls. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not shilling anything. I'm not a teacher or a financial analyst or a technical analyst or a fundamentalist of any type of projects. I'm just exploring things every single day, and this is my time in the morning to do so. And you're just watching with me live or recorded, whichever one you're on. Anyway, so let's take a quick look at the crypto markets. Let's see where everything is. Let me just refresh this page here so we can get a more current view and see what is going on. This is episode number 389. All right, so I'm almost up at 400. Honestly, man, I'm getting a little burnt out on all this stuff. I'm still trying to keep going, but yeah, I mean, almost 400 episodes, and I'm starting to feel a little burnt out. Yeah, I'm surprised it's taken this long. But anyway, I'm still doing it. Bitcoin at $43,112.49. Ethereum at $3,316.32. Looks like we have some green today, which is kind of cool, man. I hadn't seen a little green for a while. I saw one little spike of green I think it was last Thursday or Wednesday or something. And that's like the only green I've seen in since like last week of December. Anyway, Binance coin 494.18 up 10%. Tether is $1. That's a stable coin. Solana 145.91. USDC stable coin at $1, number 6 spot. Yesterday, Tether and USDC were right there next to each other, with Solana down at number 6. Cardano $1.27 up 4.7%. XRP, how are you still up here? But you're 77 cents at this number 8 spot, 1.6% up. Terra number 9, 83.68 up 21.3%. So Terra freaking jumped way ahead. So they're doing very well. Polkadot up 9%, 27.26. The Doge number 11 at up 21.8% after Elon Musk sat there and made some. Anytime old God Elon Musk says something, the Doge seems to jump up or down based along what Elon Musk says. Yes, I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess he said that you can buy Tesla products using Dogecoin or something, which contributed here to this 21.8% jump of the Dogecoin value. So, all right, man. Avalanche snuck up in between the Doge and the Shiba Inu at 4.7% up to 91.02. As I said yesterday, Avalanche is kind of a volatile one. If you like to do the whole arbitrage stuff, that might be a good one to do that with. But I like Avalanche. Shiba Inu up 6.9%. Polygon 235 up 13.9%. So yeah, man. The Near protocol also up 30.0%. Let's see where we are here. Anything else that's like really sticks out to me? No, I think that's all right for now. Okay, so there was an interesting tweet that I bookmarked. Some people have been comparing this recent dip with 2018, and I don't think it's anything like 2018. I have this liquid driver. I was looking into it. I will be looking into this liquid driver.finance, but for now, that's not what I'm doing. But I wanted to look up this Twitter thread, Leah Wald. Okay, 2018 versus now. Is it different this time? Well, yeah. The crypto has come a long ways since 2018. Back in 2017, everything was pumped up on ICOs and vaporware, and anybody could write some kind of white paper and get millions of dollars worth of funding. And there was no NFTs, or there wasn't NFTs in the way they are now. There was CryptoKitties and stuff, but there was no DeFi. There wasn't a lot of stuff. There was no other. Weren't really. I mean, there was some other layer ones, but everything was proof of work. It's just, yeah, the things were a lot different there. But Leah Wald is the CEO of Valkyrie Funds, co-author of Hyperwave Theory, The Rogue Waves of Financial Markets, and she's a Bitcoin follower. Okay, so let me go ahead and follow Leah Wald here, so I can kind of keep up to it, because what she's saying here. Okay, so is it different this time? Issuance and inflation. Bitcoin and Ethereum had 2 times the annual issuance in 2018 versus today. Okay, let's see. Let's zoom into this graph here. I'm not the best at reading graphs, so that's why I don't really do it all that much. But let's see here. So the red line is Bitcoin annual inflation rate, and then the green line is the Ethereum annual inflation rate. Okay, so the inflation rate seems to be going down. All right. Okay, so let's close this graph out, and let's go to the next point. Ethereum has also had significantly reduced issuance below its inflation schedule, with 68% net reduction in emissions since EIP 1559 went live in August 2021. So EIP 1559, if you don't know, was a change made to the Ethereum protocol in which a lot of the gas fees end up getting burnt. And what that does is it reduces the supply of Ethereum. People say, well, Ethereum has an unlimited supply. Well, that's fine. Yes, it does have an unlimited supply, but when you're burning it faster than the issuance, then there's not only an unlimited supply, but there's a reduction in supply that happens. So that obviously adds to an adding factor to the value of the token. Ninja Review, hey, welcome to the show here. He just jumped in my chat. He says, hey, were you the person who recommended Pawtherium? I've never heard of Pawtherium, so sorry. Like paw, like doggy Pawtherium. Nope, that wasn't me. Sorry. Leah Wald on point number 4 says on-chain activity, Bitcoin transactions and active addresses holding near 2021 all-time highs. Back in 2018, everything just completely tanked. Active addresses, transactions, and everything like that. But here we are in this supposed dip where we are, and people are comparing it to 2018. However, we are still holding near the 2021 all-time highs in Bitcoin transactions and active addresses. Okay, so and then Ethereum on-chain activity, Ethereum transactions and active addresses are holding at 2018 all-time highs. We're not dumping into the bottom of the tank is basically what this is saying. Exchange reserves. Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange reserves doubled from 2018 to 2020, but are down 25% and 35% respectively from 2020 to present. All right, so let's see what that's supposed to mean. Exchange reserves doubled from 2018 to 2020, but are down 25 to 35% from 2020 to present. Okay, all right. So basically, the amount of reserves that exchanges are holding in order to be able to transact. Let's see here. So balance on exchanges, and the gold, all exchanges in Bitcoin, and then the price in US dollars. Okay, so the price in US dollars has usually been a little. Okay, so here's where it crossed in 2018. And then the value went down, the balance on the exchanges has been up, and then here it crosses again below the value. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. All right, interesting graph. Let's take a look at this other graph that she posted up here. And a lot of this can be found on Glassnode. Glassnode, there's a paid version of it, but you can also see a lot of stuff for free on Glassnode as well. Just a lot of graphs and statistical information about what's been moved around, what is on exchanges. Just you can mix and match all different type of metrics that you want on Glassnode, especially with a paid subscription. So, and crypto quant is another one of these as well. So Bitcoin exchange reserve, all exchange. So, um, yeah, so crypto quant is kind of just basically showing some of the same information. Um, okay. Well, what? Yeah. Why does crypto quant look a little different than interesting? I don't know. Um, Anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to dive too deep into that. Then number 7 point that she says, Bitcoin miners, HODL balances steadily rising since January 2021, and basically people that are just holding their crypto and not moving it around and not trading it and stuff like that. Yeah, they've been rising steadily since January 2021, where in 2018 people were dumping right and left. Um, and then hash rate migration to US from China. So yeah, China banned Bitcoin, and a lot of people shipped all their miners over to the United States and other countries around the world. And it's funny because that barely made a blip on the map with the value of Bitcoin. Yeah, it affected it some, but um, nothing terrible. And then there's an increasing reliance on clean energy. So yeah, they're cleaning up the act, as far as mining cryptocurrency is concerned, and a lot of the energy being used to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is done with solar, with geothermal, with hydroelectric, and other types of renewable energies. Using stranded LP petroleum, sorry, stranded natural gas pools and stuff like that. So yeah, and then here, number 8, liquid investments and deals increased in 2018, but declined in 2019 and 2020. VC investments in blockchain and digital asset companies hit a record $33 billion last year, more than all previous years combined. So, wow. Yeah, there's been last year in 2021, there was a dip that looks like it. Yeah, that happened in 2020 and in 2019, but in last year there's more investments in blockchain and digital assets than all time. And I think that's because in 2021 we started seeing a lot of institutional organizations jumping on board, like MicroStrategies. We started seeing a lot of the big banks start to jump on board the cryptocurrency bandwagon. You had Visa sit there, buy a CryptoPunk. So everything started coming mainstream in 2021. And then 9, ETH 2.0 is still making the transition. Proof of work to proof of stake potentially coming out this year. $9 million worth of ETH staked in the wallet. Layer 2 scaling solutions of coming online. That did not exist before last year in 2021. And Layer 2 scaling solutions became theory, where they went from theory to reality last year in 2021. So it'd be interesting to see what that reality becomes in 2022 for all these layer 2 scaling solutions, and a lot of layer 1 scaling solutions are providing some real solutions as well, like Avalanche and Phantom and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, and even Harmony with DeFi Kingdoms and stuff. And then here, market participants and structure point number 10. CME and CBOE launched Bitcoin futures in December 2017. Although CBOE's product is no longer trading, CME has expanded its crypto offerings to include Bitcoin micro futures and options, as well as Ethereum futures and micro futures. All right, I don't really deal in futures or anything like that, so I don't really have an opinion on that. Number 11, the 2017 and 2018 ICO boom bust cycle significantly impacted Ethereum prices. Large swaths of Ethereum supply from ICO raises were sold on exchanges. All right, okay. And then number 12, the first futures-based Bitcoin ETFs were approved last year, with several more waiting approval. All right, and we have all these ETFs that have been lining up, and I've known for the past few years. The Gemini twins have been trying to get themselves a Bitcoin ETF approved, and they've failed every time. But it looks like things are starting to happen there on that front. The number of public crypto funds continues to grow in terms of both the number and AUM. So assets under management is what AUM stands for. So that's good. Bitcoin hodling and corporate treasuries continues to grow and expand, with MicroStrategy still leading the way. And a lot of people have started questioning Michael Saylor's sanity, that he's just so hardcore, just keeping on and diving deeper down the Bitcoin rabbit hole with, You know, I think some of the more prudent conservative investors are looking at them and being like, oh, but we'll see where that goes. Number 15, Lightning Network continues to expand in Latin America. Especially with the whole adoption of Bitcoin as the national currency in El Salvador, and the use of the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is Bitcoin's layer 2 solution, basically, where people open up what's called state channels, and you open up a channel between one person or a group, and then you exchange tons of different transactions, as many as you need to do, and then you can close that channel when you're done. All right, and settle on the Bitcoin blockchain. And then number 16, as a USDT, the Tether once was the only stable coin in town. Now this sees competition from US-based USDC. Not only that, too, is there's a lot of other stable coins, and there's decentralized stable coin attempts. Like, DAI was the first attempt at a decentralized stable coin. A lot of people argue that it's not. It's a basket of different products. But there are other types of stable coins. There's the Rye stable coin. There's the Frac stable coin. And then things like Ohm have come around that are looking at things differently. There's the magic internet money. There's stable coins that are not basing themselves off the dollar and stuff like that, and not pegging themselves to the dollar. So it's interesting to see what is happening in the stable coin world. Back in 2018, Tether was really the only dog in that fight. So just kind of chasing its own tail. So what does this all mean? According to Leah Wald, digital assets markets may be down, but they're far from out. As a firm, we're well positioned for the future. Are you? I don't know how well positioned I am. I'm just like some dude with a camera that works in a factory. But who knows? Anyway, so yeah, that was that. Another thing I wanted to do today before I signed off is I wanted to do a reading. Every once in a while, I like to do readings, and just kind of bring us back and reel us back into why all this started. Why did cryptocurrency start? Why did Bitcoin come about? Who were these people? What were they about? Well, they were about privacy and the preservation of people's privacy. And right about the time, and Eric Hughes here was one of them, and he was a cypherpunk. And right about this time when he wrote the Cypherpunk Manifesto back in 1993, this was right around the time when Joe Biden, of all people, who was a senator at the time, was really pushing to force computer manufacturers to put the Clipper chip into everybody's computers, so the government could always be able to have free access into everybody's computers, which is total bullcrap. For those people that love Joe Biden now, they forget that dude never cared about you, never cared about your privacy, doesn't care about your freedom or anything like that. So, yeah. It's just ridiculous, So back in the 1990s, there was the fight of the cypherpunks versus Joe Biden, who's trying to install the Clipper chip, and a lot of that, birthed, the precursor to the Bitcoin movement as well. So let's see here. Who is Eric Hughes? Eric Hughes is an American mathematician, cryptographer, and computer programmer. Its popularity finds its origin in his participation in the founding of the cypherpunk movement. Every political, ideological, or social movement has a triggering stimulus as a starting point. Concern about the right to privacy motivated that Eric Hughes be part of the short list that founded the movement Cypherpunk. All started when Timothy C. May, John Gilmore, and Hughes himself formed a small group to hold monthly meetings. The meetings were held in San Francisco Bay, specifically in Cygnus Solutions, Gilmore's workplace. Concerned with the right to anonymity, the member Cynthia Dwork baptized the group with the name Cypherpunks. The name was formed Cipher, code, and cyberpunk, science fiction subgenre. And I remember back then too, there was all these movies that were coming out that were focused around cyberpunks, and I thought that was really cool. I liked reading all that stuff. Total Recall was out about back then as well. So anyway, consequently, the now popular email list appeared, Cypherpunk mailing list. This list created by Eric Hughes Timothy May and Gilmore was a perfect breeding ground for cypherpunk development. And it is that, apart from initially having a group full of notable personalities, was the creation of Bitcoin. It should be said that Eric Hughes was not only co-creator, but also played the role of administrator between 1990 and 2000. Let's read a Cypherpunk Manifesto by Eric Hughes, shall we? All right, here I go. Privacy is necessary for an open society in the electronic age. Privacy is not secrecy. A private matter is something one doesn't want the whole world to know, but a secret matter is something one doesn't want anybody to know. Privacy is the power to selectively reveal oneself to the world. If two parties have some sort of dealings, then each has a memory of their own interaction. Each party can speak about their own own memory of this. How can anyone prevent it? One could pass laws against it, but the freedom of speech, even more than privacy, is fundamental to an open society. We seek not to restrict any speech at all. If many parties speak together in the same forum, each can speak to all the others and aggregate together knowledge about individuals and other parties. The power of electronic communications has enabled such group speech, and it will not go away merely because we might want it to. Since we desire privacy, we must ensure that each party to a transaction have knowledge only of that which is directly necessary for that transaction. Since any information can be spoken of, we must ensure that we reveal as little as possible. In most cases, personal identity is not salient. When I purchase a magazine at a store and hand cash to the clerk, there is no need to know who I am. When I ask my specific electronic mail provider to send and receive messages, my provider need not know to whom I'm speaking or what I am saying or what others are saying to me. My provider only need know how to get to the message there and how much I owe them in fees. When my identity is revealed by the underlying mechanism of the transaction, I have no privacy. I cannot here selectively reveal myself. I must always reveal myself. Therefore, privacy in an open society requires anonymous transaction systems. Until now, cash has been the primary such system. An anonymous transaction system is not a secret transaction system. An anonymous system empowers individuals to reveal their identity when desired and only when desired. This is the essence of privacy. Privacy in an open society also requires cryptography. If I say something, I want it heard only by those for whom I intend it. If the content of my speech is available to the world, I have no privacy. To encrypt is to indicate the desire for privacy, and to encrypt with weak cryptography is to indicate not too much desire for privacy. Furthermore, to reveal one's identity with assurance when the default is anonymity requires the cryptographic signature. We cannot expect governments, corporations, or other large faceless organizations to grant us privacy out of their beneficence. It is to their advantage to speak of us, and we should expect that they will speak. To try to prevent their speech is to fight against the realities of information. Information does not just want to be free, it longs to be free. Information expands to fill the available storage space. Information is rumor's younger, stronger cousin. Information is fleeter of foot, has more eyes, knows more, and understands less than rumor. We must defend our own privacy if we expect to have any. We must come together and create systems which allow anonymous transactions to take place. People have been defending their own privacy for centuries with whispers, darkness, envelopes, closed doors, secret handshakes, and couriers. The technologies of the past did not allow for strong privacy, but electronic technologies do. We, the cypherpunks, are dedicated to building anonymous systems. We are defending our privacy with cryptography, with anonymous mail forwarding systems, with digital signatures, and with electronic money. Cypherpunks write code. We know that someone has to write software to defend privacy. And since we can't get privacy unless we all do, we're going to write it. We publish our code so that our fellow cypherpunks may practice and play with it. Our code is free for all to use worldwide. We don't care if you don't approve of the software we write. We know that software can't be destroyed and that a widely dispersed system can't be shut down. Cypherpunks deplore regulations on cryptography, for encryption is fundamentally a private act. The act of encryption, in fact, removes information from the public realm. Even laws against cryptography reach only so far as a nation's border and the arm of its violence. Cryptography will ineluctably spread over the whole globe, And with the anonymous transaction systems, that makes it possible. For privacy to be widespread, it must be part of a social contract. People must come together and deploy these systems for the common good. Privacy only extends so far as the cooperation of one's fellows in society. We, the cypherpunks, seek your questions and your concerns and hope that we may engage you so that we do not deceive ourselves. We will not, however, be moved out of our course because some may disagree with our goals. The cypherpunks are actively engaged in making networks safer for privacy. Let us proceed together apace. Onward, Eric Hughes. So that was his that's his Cypherpunk Manifesto, and I wanted to read that. I wanted to read that in face of this thread that I just read about people comparing 2018 versus now, people panicking because of a dip, everybody worried about their monetary value and everything like that. Well, we don't have any of that if we don't have privacy, if we don't have what they started back in 1993 with the cypherpunks and everything like that. So all this exists, this dip that we're going through right now, and everybody panicking because, oh, is this just like 2018? Oh my God. Man, it's like, we'll be fine, as long as we continue to keep it centered around this entire idea, which started it all, which is people's liberty, people's freedom, people's basic human right to have privacy. And this is especially important whenever we are moving to the digitization of all the assets. As everything moves into the metaverse, even, like the metaverse is being designed and built. And there's this tension right now between people trying to centralize all that and have it be corporate and government owned, this metaverse, or be completely decentralized. And decentralized would mean that you would have some sense of privacy in the metaverse and with your digital assets and everything like that. You would basically have what's equal to a digital cash, where the centralized actors are trying to create a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, just like China is doing, in order to tell you, how much you can have, where you can spend it, how you can spend it, how fast you need to spend it, and all this stuff, and what you can own. And yeah, so there's a constant tension between centralization and decentralization, and none of this happens without what Eric Hughes expressed here in this Cypherpunks Manifesto. So yeah, one last little thing I wanted to close on. I found this little graphic here, History of the Web. I thought this was pretty interesting about the delineation between Web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. What's hey, how you doing? He said privacy is number one. Yes, it is number one. Absolutely. But here's the history of the web. If you're confused about what Web 3.0 is, Web 1 is read. Tim Berners-Lee introduced a new standard that allowed for creating visually appealing web pages with just a few lines of code and surfing the internet, superhighway, and following links instead of using command line interfaces. Because back before the internet and your graphical user interface, you just did command line stuff. I think if you ever, I remember in middle school we created our little choose your own adventure games using the coding language BASIC. The internet became more usable, and anyone could now use the internet, and was referred to as information data highway or information superhighway. So the apps back then were web browsers and search engines. Then came Web 2.0, where you could read and write, and then there was an interaction, a dynamism between the user and the computer, so and the database. The internet became more mature. Apps could be used to read and write simultaneously. This revolutionized social and economic interactions, bringing producers and consumers of information and goods and services closer together, but always with a middleman. A platform acting as a trusted intermediary between two people who do not trust or know each other. All right, these apps that came out during this time is Wikipedia, social media, and e-commerce. And then now we have Web 3.0 taking place, read, write, and execute. And I don't care what people say about cryptocurrency. This is all part of Web 3, and that's why I'm into it. I'm not into it to sit here and, I'd love to get rich off this stuff, but I want to get rich in the way of, like the people who believed early in things like Amazon way back when they just started selling books in that way, by being a visionary of the future rather than being somebody just trying to speculate off of some cryptocurrency and 100x stuff like that through some shady degen platform, although I do that too. so, anyway, so Web3 backend revolution. Front end remains the same, but the data structures in the backend change. Anyone can participate in verifying transactions and be compensated for their contribution with a network token. Agreements are executed on the fly and peer-to-peer with smart contracts. Web3 applications need a connection to a distributed ledger, which is managed by a special application called Wallet. And then the app that is coming to fruition with this are tokens. So it goes from read from Web 1, read write from Web 2, and then Web 3 is read write execute. So that's the basic fundamental differences and what this is all about. A lot of people hear the word crypto and they just think, kind of some shady MLM, like type of, chain letter type of guy, coming around trying to be all slimy and sell you on some kind of Ponzi scheme and stuff like that. No, this is all about Web3, folks, and the next iteration of the internet and where things are going right now. All right. Well, that being said, I'm gonna hang it up today. Like I said, I've been getting a little burnt out lately, but I'll still keep chugging along. I at least want to make it till episode 400 till I take a break. All right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right. Later.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.